Hey, what is up guys? Summer Julius Cruz here, and today we are going to be looking at my top 10 favorite games of all time. I grew up with most of these games, so therefore they have a very special place in my heart. This is a video that I have wanted to make for a while because I myself enjoy top 10 videos here on YouTube. Without further ado, let's dig right in and see which games made it to my top 10 favorite games of all time. Please keep in mind though, that while I own all of these games, some I wasn't able to record, so I had to grab old trailers. Please excuse the resolution for some of these. But now, for real, without further ado, let's check out my top 10 favorite games of all time. But first, let's take a look at an honorable mention, which is Resident Evil 6. I remember that when I was about to buy this game, I was approached by several of my friends who told me to just get another game. I've always loved Resident Evil, so I decided to check the game out anyway. I don't regret my decision at all. I think it's a great game that is packing a lot of content. This game has kept me busy for a while. One thing I didn't like is that they didn't put Claire in, but at least this game gave us Helena Harper. I did enjoy this game a little bit more than Resident Evil 5. Mercenaries mode is a lot of fun, and the campaign is pretty damn good as well. It didn't make it to my top 10, but it gets an honorable mention. Number 10. Fallout New Vegas on the PlayStation 3. I had to put this game somewhere on this list. I've put so many hours into this game that I've already lost count. I still haven't checked out the DLC, but I'll grab it one of these days. I own the PS3 version, which is considered by many to be the most inferior version, but I still had a great time with this game. The fact that you can create your own character and choose your own path is amazing. I probably put in around 300 hours into this game. Overall, this is a great game that deserves the number 10 spot. Let's take a look at another honorable mention, which is Dark Cloud 2 on the PlayStation 2. Now, this is a game that I was addicted to back in the PlayStation 2 era. I had so many games to play, but I kept coming back to this one all the time. The first Dark Cloud game was also very good, but this one was near perfect. To this day, I am still waiting for Dark Cloud 3. This game simply has so much stuff to do. I could talk for 20 minutes straight about this game, but there simply isn't enough time. It didn't make it to my top 10, but to this day, it still holds a very special place in my heart. Number 9. Ark the Lad, Twilight of the Spirits on the PlayStation 2. I could write a book about all the cool things in this game. This is hands down one of the most badass games I have ever played. The game has two protagonists, Karg and Dark. Karg was raised like a prince, and Dark became a slave when someone very important to him passes away. Two brothers separated at birth, raised in entirely different ways. That alone sets up an amazing plot. This is a great game that deserves to be on my top 10 without a doubt. Let's take a look at another honorable mention, which is Shinobi on the PlayStation 2. This is literally the first game I ever played on my PlayStation 2. This is probably one of the hardest games ever made. This is the only game in existence where the main character called Hatsuma dies if you simply stand still for too long. After many tries, I was able to finally beat this game and it felt awesome. This game is by far much harder than the more recent Ninja Gaiden games. It didn't make it to my top 10, but it gets an honorable mention. Number 8. Nightshade on the PlayStation 2. This is the sequel to Shinobi, and this one made it to my top 10 because it is, in my opinion, slightly superior. They made some changes to the combat system, but the game is still insanely freaking hard. In a good way, of course. The plot is a little bit weaker than the one found in Shinobi, but the gameplay is superior. I used to play this game all the time on my PlayStation 2, so I'm happy to include this great game on my top 10. Let's take a look at another honorable mention, which is Final Fantasy VIII for the PlayStation 1. This is another game from my childhood. Probably one of the first games I owned for my PlayStation, and I have to say that I loved every minute of it. Yes, Final Fantasy VII was a damn good game, but I always preferred this one just a little bit more. I lost count of how many times I beat this game. It didn't make it to my top 10, but it gets an honorable mention. Number 7. Wild Arms 3 on the PlayStation 2. I freaking love this game. This was one of the first RPGs I played on my PlayStation 2, and this is without a doubt my favorite Wild Arms game. I always loved the combat system for this game, as well as the soundtrack. There are plenty of memorable moments here, as well as characters. Overall, this is a great game that provided me with hours of entertainment. It deserves the number 7 spot, without a doubt. Let's take a look at two honorable mentions, Silent Hill 3 and Silent Hill 4. I simply could not decide between these two games, so I decided to put them both in. These games were made when Konami was in their prime, so as a result, these two games were very impressive at the time. They both have their strengths and weaknesses, but overall I had a great time with both of them. Both of these games are at least worthy of an honorable mention. Number 6. Silent Hill 2 on the PlayStation 2. This is without a doubt my favorite game on the PlayStation 2. I own several versions of this game, and it is probably the only game I have beaten more than 10 times. It has the best plot without a doubt when it comes to Silent Hill. It has 6 different endings, so the game will keep the player busy for a long time. Overall, Konami made a damn good game that deserves to be on my top 10. Let's take a look at an honorable mention, which is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain on PlayStation 3. I just had to put this game somewhere in here. I was able to get this game for free from GameStop, and I am still currently playing it. I put in over 200 hours to this game, and it says that I've completed around 69% of the game. This was Konami's last big AAA game, so they went out with a bang. Damn good game. Number 5. Metal Gear Solid 4, The Guns of the Patriots. I decided to put Metal Gear Solid 4 in my top 10 and not Metal Gear Solid 5 because Metal Gear Solid 4 is a PlayStation 3 exclusive. To me, that made the game a little bit more special and memorable. When this game came out, there really wasn't a whole lot going on for the PS3, so it was a big deal. Hideo Kojima made an excellent game tailored around the PlayStation 3 hardware. Great game that deserves a spot in my top 10. Let's take a look at an honorable mention, Guilty Gear X2. This was my first official fighting game for the PlayStation 2. The first Guilty Gear game I played was on the Sega Dreamcast. I still remember that my friends refused to play against me in this game because they knew they were going to get dismantled by my Ino or Slayer. It's been years since I played this game, but who knows? Maybe we'll be seeing it again in the future. Number 4. Ultra Street Fighter 4 on the PlayStation 3. This is the perfect spot for my favorite Street Fighter. I played vanilla back in 2011, and at first I couldn't really get into this game. Then I started playing online, and I realized that I was having a lot of fun. Fast forward to the year that Ultra Street Fighter 4 came out, and I put in probably around 2,000 hours into this game. This is an excellent game that is worthy of the number 4 spot. Let's take a look at an honorable mention, which is Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge on the PlayStation 3. I still play this game to this day, so I had to put it in somewhere. The fact that I can use the lovely ladies of Ninja Gaiden to kick some serious ass is awesome. The insane amounts of blood that come out of these bad guys is super sweet too. Overall, this is an excellent game that I greatly recommend. Number 3. Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 on the PlayStation 3. I was so happy that Tecmo decided to port this game over to the PlayStation 3. They even added 3 more playable characters as well as online co-op. That was very nice of their part. This is one of the best games available on the PlayStation 3, and I actually have the Platinum Trophy. Overall, I've always enjoyed this game, so I'm more than happy to put it here on my top 10. Let's take a look at another honorable mention, Folklore on the PlayStation 3. This is a very special game to me. Back in 2007, there wasn't really a whole lot to play on the PlayStation 3. A lot of people were simply waiting for something to play. Well, in 2007, I was playing this game and having a damn good time. I really like the Ellen character, and it's a shame that a sequel was never made. To this day, I still love this game, but I can see the flaws that it has. Number 2. Beyond Good and Evil HD on the PlayStation 3. I just want to start by saying that this is a damn good game. I missed it completely when it originally came out, but they released an HD version, which is what got me hooked to this game. This game has a very good plot as well as plenty of variety in its gameplay, so as a result, you don't want to put the controller down. Jade is an amazing character, just like this game. It deserves the number 2 spot without a doubt. Let's take a look at 2 honorable mentions, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow and Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. I simply could not decide which one to put in here, so I went with both. Both of these games are absolutely amazing. I must have put in around 100 hours to each of them. Both are extremely addicting and extremely good. They deserve at least an honorable mention. And my number 1 favorite game of all time is Castlevania Legacy of Darkness on the Nintendo 64. This is without a doubt my favorite game of all time. There is just something about this game that keeps me coming back for more. I grew up with this game, and it's a shame that it never received an update. With 4 playable characters, great boss fights, unique combat system, and an amazing soundtrack, this is without a doubt the most unique and badass game I have ever played. This game is worthy of the number 1 spot on my top 10 list.